The problem with most poorly written or poorly conceived copywriting is the fact that too many people go banging on about themselves when what people say about you is more important than what you say about yourself. And that's why testimonials work so well. Other people describing exactly how your product or service has helped them. They add third-party credibility, they gain empathy, and they can address specific audiences. Case studies are really extended versions of testimonials. They're simply success stories written as mini articles. Now, traditionally, case studies were printed documents, but they can be even more effective as an integrated part of a company website. And they work so well because they tell a story. In the next session, I give you a proven structure, one that ticks all the boxes. But first, I'd like to discuss the different approaches to look and feel of a case study. I think a lot of companies really miss a trick with the way their case study looks. I'm going to show you a couple of examples, and I'd like you to see if you can see what's wrong with them. By the way, I've blurred out the text to protect the innocent. It's not the content we're reviewing, it's the look and feel. This first example is a printed case study, and this one was taken from the web. What do they remind you of? Well, they remind me of copies of the Times circa 1900, a great slab of text. Things have moved on somewhat since then, and editors really understand how to draw readers into their copy, how to entice them. Let's look at the techniques that editors use, and maybe we can apply them to our case studies. One of the tricks is to use something known as a call-out, a single sentence or a couple of sentences taken from the main copy, often with giant quotation marks, to make it a person talking directly to the prospect, straight out of the page, to give it even more immediacy. Throughout this course, we remind ourselves that people nowadays seldom begin at the beginning and work their way through an article. They tend to skim the page, and this is particularly true of copy on screen. So call-outs are a wonderful way of capturing their attention and drawing them into the copy. But even if it doesn't succeed in drawing them into the main copy, at least they'll go away with one message, simply by having read the call-out. It's an incredibly powerful technique. Something else, of course, that editors use are photos of real live humans. And sometimes they'll combine the two, a photo accompanying the call-out together with quotation marks. What a marvellous opportunity then to adopt an editorial look and feel in our case studies. I'm going to give you an extreme example. We chose here to make it look like a page taken from a young women's magazine. It is a case study, and I created it for a software house specializing in the fashion sector. So, a strong picture, a call out in red, it really does look like a magazine article. It gives a third-party perspective. So rather than a software house saying how innovative they are, this appears to be an external journalist reporting on how innovative they are. And people in the fashion industry will feel so much more at home with this sort of look and feel. As our second example, I wrote this for a small four-man startup who'd managed to close a contract with a very large organisation, NATO. Instead of detailing it in the traditional case study approach, I made it look again like a magazine article. A strong photo, of course, but I also managed to take it one step further, persuading the end client, NATO, to add value by providing photos of two of their people, a very attractive US Navy captain, the other a senior executive within NATO. Each was then able to speak directly from the page. Oh, and staying with this example, I can make another important point. So many companies are reluctant to ask their customer for a personal comment from a senior executive complete with a photograph. This is especially true for small companies supplying a large multinational. The thing to remember is, if you don't ask, you will never get. I always ask. Now let's just take a final moment to remind ourselves of what so many case studies look like. Yuck! And this is a real-life example, a real stinker. As an experiment, does this improve things? Now, a photo of a real-life human, not some marketing person from the company writing the case study, the end customer herself, complete with a call-out. If no one reads any of the text, they still can't avoid instantly knowing that Jane Doe, production director, is thrilled because she's reduced stocks by 17.5% in just 5 months. That is gold. There, I hope you found that preamble useful. In our next video, we're going to look at the structure of a case study. See you soon.